Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some big updates coming out from Russia to share with you. So if you missed my video from this morning, I put out some updates happening in the Kursk region, and we've been talking about this over the last few days, that the Ukrainians had pushed into the Kursk region of Russia and have taken over probably upwards of 30 kilometers or more, pushing into that region. And we did a video talking about nearly an entire column of Russian troops that were wiped out in a HIMARS strike. So while the Ukrainians are pushing into the Kursk region, I believe what we just saw happening last night as well, leading into early this morning, was a major drone attack in the Lipetsk Oblast. Okay, and Lipetsk is very close to Kursk. It's just northeast, I would say, from Kursk. And this would probably be one of the pit stops for the Russians to launch, to carry out any kind of aerial attacks. Okay, they have an airfield that's in Lipetsk that they could use to provide air support cover for their troops that are moving into Kursk to reinforce the troops that are currently there right now, because we know that the Russian troops are having difficulty holding the Ukrainians back and trying to push them out of their territory. So I want to talk more about the Lipetsk region because we've got this report of drones targeting an airfield there. And we've got this video footage that came out on X that shows satellite imagery of an ammo storage depot that was completely destroyed last night in an aerial attack using drones coming from Ukraine. And there's lots of video footage coming out. I've got a bunch of things to share with you today. First, I want to jump over on X and we're going to talk about this. I'll give you some information about what's going on here. So I've got this Reuters article that says Russia's Lipetsk region hit by massive drone attack, governor says. This came out 11 hours ago, and it says Russia evacuated people on Friday from parts of its western region of Lipetsk after a massive attack by Ukrainian drones caused explosions, disrupted power supply, and wounded 9 people, Regional Governor Igor Artemonov said. 4 villages, some of them situated near an Air Force base, were being evacuated after a state of emergency was declared in the Lipetsk Municipal District, Artemonov said on the Telegram messaging app. A fire had broken out in the airbase outside Lipetsk city, the Interfax news agency reported, citing local emergency officials. Artemonov said the regional government has canceled all entertainment events and would provide increased security for other events such as sports. We will not be frightened, we will not give in, but we will also do not plan to risk the lives of our people, he said. Separately, the governor of the Russian-held city of Sevastopol in Crimea, Mikhail Razvazeyev, said on Telegram that Russian forces destroyed 3 drones and 3 drone boats near the city. So even Crimea coming under attack again last night. I think there may have been more regions that were targeted, not only Lipetsk, but Lipetsk was definitely targeted with potentially hundreds of drones at once. So it says here, Russia's defense ministry said a total of 75 Ukrainian drones had been destroyed overnight over Russia. According to the RIA news agency, most of them over Belgorod and Lipetsk regions. Ukrainian authorities have not reported any strikes on the Lipetsk region, which normally they don't. They usually do not comment on these attacks soon after they happen. But I've got a couple things I want to jump over to on X now to share with you some independent sources that have information coming out from the Lipetsk airfield. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump on over here now. From PS01, it says Kursk day 4. At night, Ukrainian drones attacked the Lipetsk airfield, which was used by Russian aviation against the Kursk offensive. The bomb stored at the base exploded. The exact damage inflicted to the Russian enemy needs clarification, but judging from the video, the sky will be cleared. The energy infrastructure was also damaged. So energy infrastructure damage, airfield potentially damaged. There was even reports that some of the aircraft here could have potentially been struck, but we haven't been able to confirm that yet. But it does look like, based on the satellite imagery, we did have an ammo dump that possibly contained hundreds of glide bombs that are used to drop all over Ukraine, was destroyed in this attack. So this is a major hit to the Russians. And also, again, this is also a major airfield that's very close to Kursk that could support their troops with aerial attacks. And now this airfield has come under attack and many of their glide bombs were potentially destroyed. So we'll see how this affects the Russians moving forward. But I've got video footage here to share with you. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. We got 2 videos and then also a map here to show you kind of where these attacks are taking place right now with Kursk and also Lipetsk. So let's go ahead and take a look at this real quick. Okay, so this gentleman seems absolutely frightened in their car right now. They can see this explosion going off not too far away. That can't be much more than a few miles away from them. And they seem absolutely frightened, and they're trying to get in their car and get out of there. So this was one of the first videos we saw coming out from the Lipetsk region. Also another video here coming up.
Airport.
Okay, so very hard to tell what we're seeing here, but we can see multiple explosions taking place here, and then lots of other strikes. Look over there. I don't know if these are more drones going off or what this is. I have no idea. There's lots of flashes happening over there. If you guys happen to know what those flashes might be from, I don't know if these are multiple drone strikes happening or what's going on here, but definitely we do know, based on the information that's being reported on X, that there was massive destruction here at this airfield. So I don't know if there was just dozens of drones falling and landing, and that's what we're seeing, all these little sparks of light popping up everywhere, or what that is. But I wanted to share that with you guys. And also, one more picture here. So just to show you, so this is where, here's Sumy. This is where the Ukrainian troops have pushed in at, okay? Just over the border of Sumy. They control probably this little section right here, okay? And they're working their way towards Kursk right now. And look at Lipetsk, okay? The Lipetsk airfield is probably right around this area, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in there. And they could use this airfield to launch attacks over here and support their troops that are fighting on the front line against the Ukrainians in this region. So obviously a major airfield came under attack, and that's why I say I think this was coordinated, obviously. And the Ukrainians purposely targeted this airfield to prevent them from being able to back up their troops here in this area. And also, we did get some reports that, like the video that I put out this morning, I forgot to mention that the Russian column that was taken out over here near Rylsky, that I reported this morning, there was like potentially upwards of 500 troops on the Russian side that were taken out in this attack. It was a HIMARS attack from Ukraine. And apparently the troops over there were saying that they don't have any air support. That apparently this is the reason why they're getting crushed over here, is they've got absolutely no air support. And then think about that now. Now the Ukrainians are over here targeting that airfield that's very close to the battlefield over here in Kursk that could be helping them out. And now their airfield is coming under attack. And I'm sure Ukraine will probably attack this again very soon. So I wanted to share that with you. And also something to note too that Volodymyr Zelensky mentioned recently is that because the United States and NATO was saying no to allowing them to strike inside of Russian territory, we recently heard from Volodymyr Zelensky. He came out and said, well, if NATO's not gonna step up and back us, we'll find our own means of attacking inside of Russia. And obviously, we've seen these drone attacks occurring already, and they've been launching hundreds of drones at a time whenever they do this. They just launch swarms and swarms. But we know also on the back end, they are currently working on their Neptune missiles. There was a report that they were upgrading their Neptune missiles that they are producing inside of Ukraine, and they're working with Romania to basically upgrade them and make them strike deeper inside of Russian territory. So that's some big news that's coming out. If this war drags on, we'll now start seeing these Neptune missiles flying into Russia as well. So let's move on here from Anton Gerashenko. Ukrainian Defense Forces successfully attacked a Russian military airfield and air defense means, including an S-350 radar. During the attack, warehouses with guided aircraft bombs and a number of other facilities near the Lipetsk airfield were hit. Security service sources say that several dozen fighter jets, helicopters, and warehouses with more than 700 guided aerial bombs were on the territory of the airfield. After a drone attack, there was a powerful explosion that caused a chain detonation and a large-scale fire in large parts of the airfield. Local authorities confirmed the detonation and announced the evacuation of nearby residents. Most of the aircraft stationed at the Lipetsk 2 military airfield did not manage to take off. So look at that. Most of them did not take off, so who knows how many were potentially hit. It does say here, it is known that Su-34, Su-35, and MiG-31s aircraft of the Russian aerospace forces are based at the Lipetsk airfield. The results of the attack are being clarified. So I might have said MiG-34s, MiG-35s. I meant to say Su-34s. Excuse me if I said that earlier. I stand corrected. I meant to say Su-34s, Su-35s, MiG-31s. Okay, these are some of the aircraft that are potentially stationed here. In particular, combat work were carried out was carried out on 3 enemy radars in the Donetsk region, 2 S-350 systems, and 1 S-300. Okay, an accurate hit and destruction of 1 S-350 radar has been confirmed. Information on other 2 targets is currently being clarified. At the same time, all 3 enemy radars were reported to have stopped working after the strike. So were all 3 taken out? We've got confirmation of 1 being struck, 1 S-350 radar, but potentially 3 were all down at the same time. Okay, and this is from General Staff of Ukraine, media sources, and the Security Service of Ukraine. So we've got more video footage coming out here. Let's check this out from Anton Gerashenko.
Охуеть надо. Тут, я не знаю, военным аэродромом, что ли, бомбят. Это пиздец полный. Охуеть надо.
Okay, so what we can clearly see from this video is lots of secondary detonations, and this is probably that ammo depot that got hit and was destroyed, because we can see multiple flashes popping off over here, and we can hear the constant explosions going off. That's probably all these missiles and glide bombs that were stored at that ammo depot that went up in flames, and if it wasn't that, who knows what exploded here, but it definitely sounds like secondary explosions at this military airfield.
Твою мать! Твою мать!
Okay, so what we hear in this video is clearly the explosion after this airfield blows up over here. We've got the shockwave hitting these people's windows in their house, and it blows their windows completely open. So I let that roll a couple times. Let's listen to this again.
Твою мать!
How frightening, right? I mean, just imagine being inside of your house, hearing these explosions in the background, and then all of a sudden your windows get blown out like that, or at least blown open because of the shockwave from this airfield exploding. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue moving on. Also from Bliskovka, says satellite imagery captured the aftermath of a nighttime Ukrainian armed forces strike on the Russian airfield of Lipetsk. The photos show destroyed warehouses and traces of large-scale fire on the territory of the airfield. So we had this picture here, aside from the satellite imagery that basically was showing the before and after. That's kind of what we see here, was this ammo dump that was destroyed, okay? So I'm going to show you guys on a map here where I found this at, but it shows the before and after. I mean, look at that. This is what it looked like before, afterwards completely destroyed. And if this was an ammo storage facility, makes sense why it would be completely demolished, because all these bombs exploded. There was fires breaking out all over the airfield. So very massive attack from the Ukrainians. So let me pull up this map now and let me show you this, okay? So we've got this this shown here for you. This is Ukraine down here. And then also, so here's the Kursk region again, okay? So here's Kursk, here's Lipetsk, okay? Lipetsk is up here. And this is why they went after this airfield, because it's just right next to Kursk where all the action is taking place. And if we zoom in over here, here's the city of Lipetsk. And then here's the airfield that was targeted, that I believe was targeted. And here's why. So as we can see, there's all these fighter bomber aircraft here, right? And then just north up here, I found this looks just like what we saw, okay? I think this is it, that ammo storage facility. And this is the one that went up in flames here and was completely destroyed. It's actually just a little bit north, maybe, what, 100, 200 yards away from the airfield. And it's just right over here, and this is what they targeted. So let me show you. See, we'll back up here. We can see this tank here and that tank. And then if we zoom in here, same thing. Here's that longer tank and that shorter tank. I don't know if these are like some sort of fuel being stored here, or maybe that's a building. It's kind of hard to tell, but we see the same exact thing right here, okay? So I believe this is exactly what was targeted in this strike when this ammo depot got hit. So this is the airfield at Lipetsk that was targeted. We don't know what else was hit. There could have been more aircraft, because they've got tons of aircraft here. I mean, look at this. Dozens of them, okay, all over the place that are stored, even over here on this side. And obviously this is an older picture, this is satellite imagery, but you know, there could have been dozens of helicopters and Su-34 fighter bombers, and this is obviously an air base that they use when they launch their glide bomb aerial attacks. And if this ammo depot was destroyed, now they don't have ammunition from this base to attack the Ukrainians inside of the Kursk region. So I just wanted to share that with you and let you know what's going on over here, let you know what I found when I did some digging. So obviously, major hit to the Russians here once again. And this is obviously just getting very scary. I mean, the Russians are taking massive losses right now. I mean, think about the amount of damage that has been inflicted inside of Russia just in the last 72 hours. I mean, the Kursk region is in complete chaos. We've got a federal emergency across the entire country. We've got airfields coming under attack. The Morozovsk airfield just got attacked recently as well. Lots of the airfields nearby, close to Ukraine, that are being used to launch guided aerial bomb attacks consistently, hundreds, upwards of 1,000 or more every week, being dropped all over Ukraine. And Ukraine is not allowing this to happen anymore. They are taking matters into their own hands and striking the Russians most where it hurts, and that's their airfields. And this is something that Volodymyr Zelensky said he was going to do, was that he wanted to go after their airfields, even if the U.S. was not going to allow them to use their own weapons to strike inside of Russian territory, that they would do this themselves. And that's why they're using these drone attacks to destroy these airfields and these ammo depots. So I believe as well, there was probably at least 3 ammo depots that have been destroyed in the last few days. I know there was this one in Lipetsk and Morozovsk, and then there was one more, I can't remember what city it was that was reported, but there's been multiple ammo depots that have gone up in flames here recently. So what is Russia going to do at some point when they can no longer target Ukraine with these guided aerial bombs? Because obviously it's been very effective for them in this war against Ukraine. But let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.